Yo, what's up? I'm Mr. Dave and welcome to Jazz in the World of Black American Music. I'm so excited to share what we have in store today. But first, let's start with some critical questions. Feel free to pause the video. What forms an identity? What forms culture? What is freedom, and what does it mean to you? What happens when identity and culture are taken from you? Jazz can be such a beautiful music, but we need to remember that the circumstances that created it are painful. It expresses the traumas of African American life and exemplifies the resiliency of the human spirit. I'd like to start the video by reading something that you might already be familiar with. And if not, I'm sure you'll see it later in your school life. It's the Declaration of Independence, and it says, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." This statement within the Declaration of Independence did not have African Americans in mind. They were subject to some of the worst treatment that humans have ever faced, taken from their land, stripped from their culture, working against their will without being paid. Much of America's wealth was a product of the work of enslaved people. Enslaved people had their culture and way of life stripped from them. North American British colonies banned music and drumming because they knew that Africans used drumming as a language. And slave owners were fearful that they would use it to find freedom or cause an uprising. However, the enslaved people created new musical styles to get through the day, like the spiritual used in religious settings, and the work song used to get through hard days of labor.
Be so glad when the sun go down.
When the sun go down.
I'll be so glad when the sun go down.
When the sun go down.
These songs that the enslaved people used became the backbone of what we would know today as the blues. In the French colonies, especially in New Orleans, the enslaved people preserved their old ways of life. Their rich tradition of drumming and dance continued once a week in a place known as Congo Square, and many people say that American music was born right there. When slavery ended, there were many black instrumentalists, and some of these musicians were absolutely astounding, but there was one in particular that changed the course of music forever. His name was Buddy Bolden. Even though we don't have any recordings of Buddy Bolden, we know that he played the trumpet with such style and flair that many musicians were inspired by him. And a whole new way of playing emerged in New Orleans. It was a style called the second line. Now we're going to learn the rhythms behind the second line. And all you'll need are your hands. Okay, so it's just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's all it is. That's the second line. Now I have something prepared for you to practice it even more, and we're going to cut to that right now. was absolutely amazing. You guys did a great job. Now, until next time, I'm Mr. Dave, and thank you for tuning in to Jazz and the world of Black American music.